to the third part of the Quiltmania Mystery 2016. We're going to work on the third border. I have chosen to make windmill blocks because in Holland we have Dutch windmills, so this is the Dutch windmill border. But before we start the video, I very much would like to take you to a real Dutch windmill. Shall we go? Our little trip, welcome back in the workshop. For the third border, these are the fabrics that we are using. From the previous part, these ones, and we add these ones. The background fabric, a purple one, an olive one, and a light blue. We take our background fabric to start with. We fold it open in front of us. This is the 70 centimeters. This is the 110, or in inches 27.5 inch, and the 44 inch. Cut off the selvedge and then we start cutting our pieces. First cut are 4 5-inch squares. Our second cut are 16 3/7/8 squares. Then we cut 4 3.5 by 5.5 rectangles, or you can use the provided template. 4 2.5 by 3.5 rectangles, or use the provided template. And then for the windmill blocks we need 160 triangles, so you can cut 80 squares to 3/8, 80 to 3/8 squares, or 160 triangles using the provided template. These 5-inch squares and 3/7/8 squares we take and we put aside for later use. Take your colors. From these prints we need to cut the 160 triangles for the 40 windmill blocks. Follow the instructions in Quiltmania for the exact amount you need of each print. Of course, you can as well make your own color scheme. Next step is making the blocks. For each block you need 4 background triangles and 4 color print triangles. You can either sew them together by hand or by machine, whatever you prefer. Take a color print square and a background square. Draw a diagonal line and sew on each side with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Then cut on the drawn line and you have 2 squares. For one block you need 4 squares, so you have to repeat it. If you prefer to use your triangles, put a background triangle and a colored print triangle, right sides together, sew them for 1 square and make 4 squares for each block. Like this, make 40 windmill blocks for the 4 borders. Cut your 40 blocks to the right size of 3.5 inch using a 3.5 inch square ruler. You probably have one. Put it on and cut it carefully to the right size. I'm using this wonderful rotating cutting mat, so I don't have to move my block. It's now the right size of 3.5 inch. Sew 10 blocks together for 1 border and make 4 border strips. Take a border strip. Take 2 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch rectangles and sew them on to each side of your border strip. This is this piece, like this. Imagine this is your border, so one piece on the bottom and the other piece on the top, and watch that your prints point into the right direction. In the same direction, maybe that's better. And then make 2 of these and sew them on to the right and left side of your center. For the top and bottom, take 1 of the remaining strips and 2 of the 3.5 by 5.5 rectangles. Sew the rectangles on to each side of your border strip, like this. Imagine that this is your border strip, so 1 to this side, this is your border strip, and 1 to the other side. Again, notice that the print points into the same direction. Make 2 of these borders and sew them on to the bottom and top of your center. After putting the borders on, you are at the last step, the Pentagon flowers. For this you need background fabric and the small piece of border fabric that is left from part 2. Notice that you do not take the large piece you have put aside. You need that for later. You need as well 24 of 1/4 of an inch Pentagon papers, and optional is this Pentagon donut. Fussy cut from the background fabric 4 pentagons. This donut pentagon is very handy to find the right spot. They come in a set of 4 different sizes. Fussy cut from the border fabric 20 pentagons, like this and this and this. Put your papers in and make 4 Pentagon flowers. Applique them on to your 4 corners, take the papers out, and your part 3 of the discovery is finished. I wish you veel success and we'll be back in 2 months.